Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And imagine being asked as a man, have you ever been pregnant? It's madness, isn't it? Imagine you're a blood donor who's given many, many pints of blood over many, many years, if you're a man. Imagine saying, that's a stupid question, and then being told, well, if you don't answer it, you can't give blood. Political correctness is now directly costing lives. Let's have a look at this article. So this is in the Mail Online, and quite simply, astonishing. Male blood donor, 66, turned away from clinic after he refused to answer a question on whether he was pregnant as part of a pre-donation questionnaire. Over 50 years, Leslie Sinclair has given a formidable 125 pints of blood. And after complaining, he said staff told him they could not accept a blood donation because he refused to say that he'd ever been pregnant. Madness. Absolute madness. On his last trip, he was turned away after refusing to answer that question, and Mr. Sinclair, 66, was told to fill in a form which asked whether he was expecting a child or had ever been pregnant in the past 6 months. I understand why it's very important to know whether the donor has ever been pregnant or is about to give birth or whatever, but the ever been pregnant thing is because blood from a woman who has been pregnant, if given to a man, can prove lethal. So they must know, and I completely accept this, they must know whether the blood that's being donated is coming from a woman who's ever been pregnant. Absolutely fine with that. Medicinally, very, very important to know. Okay, so let's get that straight. So it is important to ask the question, but I think the important thing here is it's important to ask the question of a woman. When he complained that as a man in his 60s this question did not apply and he should not have to answer it, Mr. Sinclair said staff at the clinic told him they could not accept his blood. The standoff took place as NHS England launched a campaign earlier this week to recruit 1 million more blood donors over the next 5 years. Well, if you're that desperate for blood, why the hell are you turning people away? You can't be that desperate for blood. It's like saying, yes, we really need it, but what we really need more than the life-saving blood is your compliance with a political effort to accept transgenderism. That's more important than accepting your blood that will save people's lives. That's the NHS's viewpoint here. It emerged last night that all potential donors are asked if they are pregnant to promote inclusiveness. See what I mean? And because pregnancy is not always visually clear. Yeah, but here's the thing. If it's a man, it's pretty damn visually clear that he will not be pregnant and will never have been pregnant. Because he's a man. The father of 2 from Stirling in central Scotland said, I'm angry because I have been giving blood since I was 18 and have regularly got along. I am very happy to do so without any problem. And there's always a form to fill, and that's fine. They tend to ask about medical conditions or diseases, and clearly that's because blood needs to be safe. This time around, there's a question I hadn't seen before. Are you pregnant, or have you been in the last 6 months? Which required a yes or no answer. I pointed out to staff that it was impossible for me to be in that position, but I was told I'd need to answer, otherwise I couldn't give blood. I told them that was stupid, and if I had to leave, I wouldn't be back, and that was it. I got on my bike and cycled away. And it's nonsensical and it makes me angry because there are vulnerable people waiting for blood, including children, and in desperate need of help. But they've been denied my blood because of an obligation to answer a question that can't possibly be answered. No, the NHS is more concerned with political correctness and whether people are trans-inclusive than on saving lives. Because the NHS is becoming rapidly a Marxist organisation, not designed to help people, but designed to coerce people politically into fulfilling an agenda. Last night, Professor Mark Turner, director of SMBTS, said, that's the National Blood Transfusion Service, said, We appreciate the support of each and every one of our donor community, and we thank Mr. Sinclair for his commitment over a long number of years. Whilst pregnancy is only a relevant question for those with biological sex or sex assigned at birth is female. What do you mean sex assigned at birth? You mean female. You're not assigned a sex at birth. You are a sex at birth. But anyway, he's saying sex assigned at birth is not always visually clear to staff. Yeah, well then you need to employ better staff, or just say no trans, and that way removes the the problem. Because to ask a man whether he's been pregnant is offensive. It says, as a public body, we take cognizance of changes in society around how such questions may be asked without discrimination, and have a duty to promote inclusiveness. Well then, the simple answer, not applicable, is good enough. Move on. You stupid people. You're endangering people for an agenda of political correctness based on fear from a tiny group of mentally insane people. Anyway, I'll finish here, round it off, and we'll come up and end the video. It is very typical of the left. This adherence to agenda trumps the saving of lives. They are saying that in one hand that they're desperate for blood donations, and on the other hand they're driving people away because of offensive questions. This is the danger of socialised healthcare. They should be grateful for every drop of blood that is donated. Instead, they want to coerce, force, manipulate people into following this weird agenda that they're only following because of a very vocal minority of mentally ill people. It's not inclusive when you're excluding people. And who are you excluding? Well, you're excluding men from this because you're saying, well, you're asking them stupid questions that men will find offensive. No, I'm a man. I've never been pregnant. Simply putting, not applicable. You see, what you need to put there is, have you ever been pregnant? Yes, no, not applicable. Problem is sorted. But that requires, one, common sense, and two, to turn your back on that agenda. And they can't do that. Push, push, push. Anyway, I shall end it there. If you like what you hear and see on the channel, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Ring the bell for notifications of future output. Leave a like, leave a comment, and until next time, dear friends, stay safe, stay well, and goodbye.